Caiden Cowger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen,
Somebody
welcome
had
to
to
Caiden
say
Cowger
it.
program, broadcasting from West Virginia. It is great to have you with us. So apparently, widow Kim Jong-un has just fired a missile over Japan. It's making all the headlines right now. Apparently, the little weasel's starting to get confident. This is from the Daily Mail. Breaking news: Kim Jong-un launches new North Korean missile which flies over panicked Japan. Daily Mail: North Korea has fired a missile that passed over northern Japan today. The government's J-Alert text message warning system advised people in the area to take precautions and move to a sturdy building or basement. The Japanese military did not attempt to shoot down the missile. I don't know why not. I guess they don't care about their people, which passed over Japan in their territory around 6:06 a.m. local time. It broke off into three pieces off the coast of Hokkaido and landed in the Pacific Ocean around 700 miles east of Kamabealo. It was the first time North Korea had fired a projectile over Japan since 2009. The launch from Pyongyang comes after Seoul's National Intelligence Service, NIS, told South Korean lawmakers at a closed-door parliamentary session that it has detected signs of secretive state preparing for another nuclear test at its Pyongyang underground test site. So yeah, that's what's going on in North Korea right now, and then they're showing the warnings that popped up on people's iPhones, which are all written in Japanese, so I'm not going to bother you with trying to interpret. So anyway, it says Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said that he would do all in his power to protect the Japanese public. We will make the utmost efforts to firmly protect the lives of the people, Abe told reporters in brief remarks as he entered his office for emergency meetings on the missile firing. The country's chief cabinet secretary, Yoshihide Suga, described it as an unprecedented grave threat. The warning text to citizens said a missile was fired. Okay, they already did the translation. A missile was fired from North Korea. Please evacuate to a sturdy building or basement. That's not funny. North Korea launched a rocket over Japan in 1998 and then a satellite payload in 2009. Kim Jong-un has conducted a series of test launches to develop its missile capability and recently threatened to send missiles over western Japan and into the waters near the U.S. territory of Guam. So, the question that I really have to ask here is that how much longer are we going to be dealing with this little snot-nosed dweeb over North Korea until we're going to actually just bomb the tar out of him and get him out? Because, we're putting our own citizens at jeopardy every time that we allow this stuff to continue. So, guys, it's just absolutely ridiculous. They are a menace. They are a menace, and they need to be squashed like the little bug that they are. It's so absolutely ridiculous that we're still battling this, because all that they're doing is that they're just tormenting the world. What if they would have hit Japan? If they would have hit Japan, what would happen? There you have a bunch of innocent lives that were sacrificed, that were killed, that were murdered because of a little dweeb in North Korea with a red button. Guys, it's so absolutely pathetic. We need to just go ahead and take them out. This kind of garbage is just not worth it. It's not. So anyway, Washington Post is wanting to charge me to read their trash headlines, it looks like. I just won't go to your website. There are plenty of other stories out there. Anyway, we have a thing here. It says that Trump responds to a question on whether Russia is a security threat and that many countries are a security threat. So that's a headline that's in the Washington Free Beacon. A reporter asked him this question. Go ahead and listen to this. Because if Trump does not say that Russia is a major security threat, then of course they're going to just take that and manipulate his statements into saying that he's colluding with the Russians again. So notice how the media is once again trying to revive the Russian narrative. Go ahead and play it. This is from C-SPAN.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question to President Trump, if I may. As President Niinistö told, he's been raising the issue about the security situation in the Baltic region and the Baltic Sea specifically, and has been concerned about the planes flying there without transponders on. So my question to you, Mr. President, would be, Mr. Trump, would you consider Russia as a security threat? Thank you.
Well, I consider many countries as a security threat, unfortunately, when you look at what's going on in the world today. As you know, a few weeks ago, our great Vice President, Mike Pence, who's right here, was in the region and spent quite a bit of time there. We consider that a very, very important part of the world. We have great relationships there. We have a great relationship with Finland. And so I would consider many countries threats, but these are all threats that we'll be able to handle if we have to. Hopefully we won't have to handle them, but if we do, we will handle them.
Can I have a follow-up, as he had also? So if the situation in the Baltic were to escalate, what would the U.S. be ready to do in that unfortunate circumstances?
Well, we are very protective of that region. That's all I can say. We are very, very protective. We have great friends there, great relationships there. We are extremely protective. Okay. Thank you.
So anyway, I guess what the media is going for there is that they want Trump to create an international incident saying, yes, Russia is a security threat, and they are to be exterminated and taken out. I mean, I guess that's what the media is going for. Because Trump gave a very professional, very eloquent response to Russia saying that we have many security threats. And, you know, they are kind of a superpower, and we are kind of having to do business with them sometimes. But I guess the Democrats now suddenly that were, you know, walking hand in hand with Russia, singing Kumbaya, now wanting Donald Trump to just completely bash him. I mean, it's absolutely absurd and ridiculous, but that's what the media is going for here. Because like I said, if Trump did not say that Russia's a security threat, what are they going to do? They're going to make it out like Donald Trump is colluding with the Russians, and this is further evidence that he has a secret heart for Russia. Because lo and behold, we find out on thehill.com that Donald Trump, apparently, this is what the headline on thehill.com says. It says that Donald Trump failed. Donald Trump declines to single out Russia as a security threat. How about that headline? Donald Trump declines to call Russia a security threat, to single out Russia as a security threat. See, they're portraying it as if Donald Trump is, you know, has a heart for Russia. That him and Vladimir, you know, are BFFs. That's how ridiculous this is. This is thehill.com. President Trump on Monday declined an opportunity to call out Russia as a security threat, saying instead that he considers many countries threats. Trump was responding to questions at a joint press briefing with Finnish President Sauli Niinistö following their bilateral meeting in Washington. When asked by a Finnish reporter whether he considers Russia a security threat, Trump responded, I consider many countries a security threat. Unfortunately, when you look at what's going on in the world today, the reporter was referencing escalating tensions in the Baltic region. When asked what the United States would be willing to do if tensions continue to escalate, Trump offered no details, but said plainly that the U.S. is very protective of that region. So they're making a big deal because Donald Trump said that refused to single out Russia. And Trump stated, I hope that we do have good relations with Russia. Trump said, I say it loud and clear. I've been saying it for years. I think that it's a good thing if we have good relationships or great relationships, or at least good relationships with Russia, Trump said. I believe someday that will happen. It's a big country, and it's a nuclear country. So, I mean, guys, that's what I'm talking about. This is a nuclear country, and the Democrats are wanting us to make them our blood enemy. And it's so absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at the damage that the Democratic Party is doing with Russia relations. It's crazy. But I tell you, they are wanting us to just completely, take Russia and throw them aside. But the fact of the matter is that you do have to have discussions open for business. I mean, even when they were the USSR, there were times that we, unfortunately, had to deal with Russia. So, I mean, they're just using this as a big opportunity to just completely attack Russia. And the thing is, how many of you want to bet that the next time that we have a Democratic president, if that ever happens again, the next time we have a Democratic president, they are going to have to do business with Russia. And they are going to start sucking up to Russia again. I guarantee you that's going to happen. Guarantee you it'll happen. So anyway, so we have the media once again continuing, Donald Trump is colluding with Russia. We have another thing here. The ACLU is apparently suing Donald Trump over the transgender military ban. Oh, this is absolutely wonderful. This is from ABC News. Transgender soldiers, sailors, airmen, and other members of the military, along with others who want to enlist, sued Donald Trump on Monday, hoping the federal courts would hold him from preventing their service. One federal lawsuit was filed in Baltimore by the American Civil Liberties Union of Maryland on behalf of 6 transgender individuals currently serving in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the National Guard, and the Naval Reserve. Another was filed in Seattle, blah, 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 blah. I thought the Army would make a man out of me, joked Army Staff Sergeant Catherine Schmidt, 33, who is stationed at a Joint Base Lewis McChord near Tacoma, Washington, and is a plaintiff in the Seattle case. We see how effective that was. Yeah, Catherine, that's the exact reason why you don't need to serve in the military, because you think that making a man out of somebody is literally, I joined the military so I could get a free transition. That's what you're saying. Sorry, Catherine. Or is it Catherine or is it, I don't know. I don't know if it's a guy or if it's a girl. I have no idea. But anyway, they don't say. So I'm going to just say, it has a really demented viewpoint of gender. So, I mean, guys, that's what I mean. These people do not need to be in the military. They're not mentally equipped for war. If they can't emotionally deal with their biological gender without bawling their eyes out and, going through all this emotional instability, saying, I was a woman born in a man's body, and they're going through all this, ridiculousness, rejecting biology, rejecting science when liberals claim to embrace science. They don't embrace it when it comes to gender, which is the most basic thing. You're either a male or female. Deal with it. The thing is that, if they can't emotionally deal with that, and they are so traumatized by being called a gender that they were born, if you use the wrong pronunciation, like if it's a guy that identifies as a girl and you call him he, and they start bawling their eyes out, how in the world can these people be considered to be emotionally stable enough to be trusted with the nation's secrets and be trusted in the United States military? They can't be. I mean, my goodness, if they can't even handle being called a man when they were born a man, how in the world can they make it through basic training? How in the world can they make it through the military? And especially if they were captured, can you imagine how easy it would be to get information out of them? All that the guy has to do, if we're trying to get information out of this guy, all the guy has to do is just keep referring to, the guy as a he. Sir, answer the question. Quit calling me sir. I'll do anything. I'm telling you, that's, I mean, it's bad, but it's the truth. These people are so emotionally unstable that over in California, they're trying to make it out like if you used, he to refer to a guy that is transgender and born a he, that you can go to jail for that. So it's ridiculous.
Fighting liberalism one lie at a time.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
Are you looking for tickets to the hottest concerts, big game, or theater show? Look no further than StarFanTickets.com. We have amazing tickets to almost everything. No event is ever sold out. Why wait? It's easy to get the tickets you want at the prices you'll love. Simply search for the event. Then click the Find Tickets button. That's StarFanTickets.com. Join the StarFan crew mailing list and stay up to date on all the hottest events in your area. That's StarFanTickets.com. We have your tickets. Hashtag, you going?
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108.
Like what you hear? We need your support. Consider becoming a patron of the Caiden Cowger program. As a member, you'll gain access to exclusive content only available to patrons of the show. Your subscription will help fund equipment, projects, promotion, and overall production of the broadcast. To join, go to www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. That's www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. Again, www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. And thanks.
Have a brand, organization, or business? Consider becoming a sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Reaching over 6 states, the Caiden Cowger program offers wide coverage. I'm sure you've heard that radio is dead, but research shows that 93% of Americans listen to the radio, including 92% of millennials. That's greater than television, internet, and smartphone usage. Radio isn't dead. After all, aren't you hearing this? 84% of drivers cite radio as their primary in-car entertainment device. This means your sponsorship spot is reaching consumers closest to their point of purchase. In addition, talk is the second most listened to radio format. Sponsoring the Caiden Cowger program is actually quite simple. We tell our listeners who you are, what your business does, and how to get in touch with you. It helps you and keeps our program on the air. For more information, go to www.CaidenCowgerProgram.com/sponsor.
This is President Donald J. Trump, and I would like to tell you, all of my loyal supporters, and you're all very loyal, to listen to the Caiden Cowger program on your local station. Caiden Cowger is a great guy, does an amazing job, loves Trump, and is making radio great again. His show is huge. Also, his Twitter account, @Caiden Cowger, is very bigly. So bigly, it's almost as good as Trump's. So go ahead and give him a follow. Let's make his Twitter followers number greater than Rosie O'Donnell's poor bathroom scale. Now that would be an accomplishment. You can also give him a follow on Instagram via @Caiden Cowger. Thank you, and let's make radio and America great again.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger.
So, in case you thought I was joking about
Somebody
California
had to say
proposing
it.
jail time for using the wrong pronoun for transgenders, I wasn't. This is an article from Lori Johnson at CBN News. And it's headline, California proposes jail time for using the wrong gender pronoun for transgenders. What is a gender pronoun? A gender pronoun is he, she, zit, zer. I think zit is one. Is it one? You know, the stuff that's filled with pus, zit? Hey, zit! I guess that can work either way. But zer, I know, is definitely one. California proposes jail time for using the wrong gender pronoun for transgenders. This is CBN. California is on its way to passing a new law that makes it illegal to call transgender senior citizens, all senior citizens, a pronoun they don't like. For example, if an elderly person who was born male and lives in a long-term care facility wishes to be called her or she, the workers there had better do it or face the consequences. The proposed law would even apply to Christian facilities. SB 219, titled the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Long-Term Care Facility Residents Bill of Rights, states it will be unlawful for a long-term care facility or facility staff willfully and repetitively fail to use a resident's preferred name or pronouns after being clearly informed of their preferred name or pronoun. So if that doesn't necessarily have to be because of a particular gender. So if my name was Roger and you accidentally call me Bill, I can have you arrested. That is if you don't like your nurse, you can really get them out real quick. So anyway, it says here, it imposes fines and jail time on any long-term care employee who refuses to use transgender pronouns. Ew. Fines for repeat offenders could be as high as $1,000 and a jail term of up to a year. Oh, goody. So you don't conform to our rejection of biology, you will go to jail. Reject science or else. So that's kind of like what they did, back in the medieval era, isn't it? During the Enlightenment age, if you proposed anything that was science related, that was in rejection of what the country at the time viewed as being normal, and you proposed, something pertaining to science that was scientifically sustainable, like, I don't know, the earth isn't flat, you were, threatened, your life was threatened, you were thrown in jail, stuff like that. So it looks like we're kind of going back to that in liberal land. How about that? The bill also mandates that bathrooms and rooming situation be designated by gender identity and not biological sex. Oh, goody. So you can get a guy with not how could I put that? You'll have guys in the girls' restroom in long-term care facilities. Goody, goody. There are no exemptions for long-term care facilities run by religious institutions who integrate their beliefs about gender into their policies and practices. Critics of the law fought against it. California Family Counsel's Greg Burt testified before the California Assembly Judiciary Committee, saying, "How can you believe in free speech but think the government can compel people to use certain pronouns when talking to others?" He added. Compelled speech is not free speech. Can the government compel a newspaper to use certain pronouns that aren't even in the dictionary? Of course not. Or is that coming next? You better believe it's coming next, Mr. Burt. That's what they're going to be pushing for. Those proposing this bill are saying that if you disagree with me about my view of gender, you are discriminating against me, Burt continued. This is not tolerance. This is not love. This is not mutual respect. True tolerance tolerates people with different views. We need to treat each other with respect, but respect is a two-way street. It is not respectful to threaten people with punishment for having sincerely held beliefs that differ from your own. Despite Bert's objections, the measure, which is sponsored by the group Equality California and authored by San Francisco Senator Scott Wiener, sailed through committee without even one vote against it. If this bill sounds familiar, perhaps it's because Canada's Senate overwhelmingly passed similar legislation last month. The Canadian Transgender Rights Bill adds gender expression and gender identity to Canada's Human Rights Code and to the Criminal Code's hate crime section. So there you go. There you go. Guys, I'm telling you, what we are witnessing take place in California is something that, once again, could very well sweep the nation. It might take a few years, but eventually, if we don't put a stop to this, if we don't end this, it could very well do so. Because what we are witnessing are liberals trying to obliterate freedom of speech. And they're trying to make it a hate crime to use the wrong gender pronoun. They are destroying California, and they're destroying the country. They are. I mean, my goodness, they are wiping out freedom of speech, making a hate crime a thing pertaining to vocal expression. Verbal expression. Apparently you can hurt somebody. That's so absolutely absurd. Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's just gone right out of the way, hasn't it? Like no one's tough anymore. I mean, my goodness, kids in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, maybe not so much 60s, but, 60s too. Because my father grew up in the 60s. Kids used to say that all the time. Kids, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But now what do they say? You hurt me, you should go to jail. The only difference is that it's not a 5-year-old saying it even. It's a 34-year-old man. How dare you call me by the gender of my birth? Are you kidding me? I mean, my goodness, it's just so absolutely pathetic. And, the bad thing is that, have you ever walked into a gas station and you're trying to be nice and you're trying to be respectful and polite, and the guy behind the cashier, at least I think it's a guy, I'm not sure, and you don't know what gender they are? Or you realize it's a man and you thought it was a woman and you accidentally call the guy ma'am. Well, I guess you go to jail for that in California. And, I've done that several times by accident. I think that it's a woman behind the counter because, they don't cut their hair at all. It's all the way down to their ankles and they look like bush monkeys. And that's the thing. Like, you accidentally say, ma'am, I guess you can go to jail for that in California. How about that? Do you get a warning? How many warnings do you get? How many lashings do you get if you're a repeat offender? Do you get the electric chair if you say it more than 3 times? I mean, that's the direction that we're headed, guys. Controlled thought, controlled speech. You've got to say and spew liberalism. If you don't conform to the principles of liberalism, then what's going to happen? You're going to go to jail. You're going to be fined. I mean, what about the Church of God in Christ over there in California? I mean, they have a massive Church of God in Christ church over there in Los Angeles. You think every sermon there at the Church of God in Christ, which was once embraced by the Democratic Party, by the way, do you think that every sermon is going to be tolerant of this perverted view of gender? Do you think that they are going to conform their sermons? Actually, I hope they don't. But the way that a lot of churches are going, I could see it. I could see that happening. But there are some churches over in California that I know that are, that are Bible-based. Are they going to have to be required to refer to transgender men as he and transgender women as she? It's ridiculous. Insane.
Some say he's the next Rush Limbaugh.
I tell you, this kid's got 90% of Rush's venom with only 10% of the biomass.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it. You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108.
This is President Donald J. Trump, and I would like to tell you, all of my loyal supporters, and you're all very loyal, to listen to the Caiden Cowger program on your local station. Caiden Cowger is a great guy, does an amazing job, loves Trump, and is making radio great again. His show is huge. Also, his Twitter account, @Caiden Cowger, is very bigly. So bigly, it's almost as good as Trump's. So go ahead and give him a follow. Let's make his Twitter followers number greater than Rosie O'Donnell's poor bathroom scale. Now that would be an accomplishment. You can also give him a follow on Instagram via @Caiden Cowger. Thank you, and let's make radio and America great again.
Have a brand, organization, or business? Consider becoming a sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Reaching over 6 states, the Caiden Cowger program offers wide coverage. I'm sure you've heard that radio is dead, but research shows that 93% of Americans listen to the radio, including 92% of millennials. That's greater than television, internet, and smartphone usage. Radio isn't dead. After all, aren't you hearing this? 84% of drivers cite radio as their primary in-car entertainment device. This means your sponsorship spot is reaching consumers closest to their point of purchase. In addition, talk is the second most listened to radio format. Sponsoring the Caiden Cowger program is actually quite simple. We tell our listeners who you are, what your business does, and how to get in touch with you. It helps you and keeps our program on the air. For more information, go to www.caidencowgerprogram.com/sponsor.
Like what you hear? We need your support. Consider becoming a patron of the Caiden Cowger program. As a member, you'll gain access to exclusive content only available to patrons of the show. Your subscription will help fund equipment, projects, promotion, and overall production of the broadcast. To join, go to www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. That's www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. Again, www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. And thanks.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America comes to talk.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
I'm serious, guys. All this stuff is just ridiculous. California proposing jail time for using the wrong pronoun for transgenders. Senior transgenders, excuse me. It's dumb. It's so absolutely ridiculous. Because you know that once this expands from the care facilities, it's going to go on to where they're trying to dictate it everywhere. So that's dumb. Absolutely dumb. That was published back in July of 2000. It was published on July 19th, 2017. So that was last month that took place. But still, I mean, guys, that's how ridiculous this stuff is getting. So they're really just aggravated at Trump for what he did pertaining to this transgender issue. And I'll tell you another thing that they're upset at him over, and that's pardoning former Sheriff Arpaio. They're really mad about that. We have the audio bit of Trump actually defending his comments pertaining to Sheriff Arpaio. Go ahead and listen to this. This is Donald Trump asked by a reporter what his opinion was about pardoning Sheriff Arpaio, if he's going to defend his actions or not. Go ahead. This is Donald Trump.
The right thing to do, John. And actually, in the middle of a hurricane, even though it was a Friday evening, I assumed the ratings would be far higher than they would be normally. You know, the hurricane was just starting. And I put it out that I had pardoned, as we say, Sheriff Joe. He's done a great job for the people of Arizona. He's very strong on borders, very strong on illegal immigration. He is loved in Arizona. I thought he was treated unbelievably unfairly when they came down with their big decision to go get him right before the election voting started, as you know. And he lost in a fairly close election. He would have won the election, but they just hammered him just before the election. I thought that was a very, very unfair thing to do. When I mentioned him the other night, you saw the massive crowd we had. The people went crazy when I said, what do you think of Sheriff Joe, or something to that effect. The place went absolutely crazy when I was in Arizona last week. And as far as pardons are concerned, I actually did this just before the meeting because I assumed that somebody would ask me the question. I didn't know it would be you, as you can attest. You didn't even know you were going to be called. But I thought I would. And, Sheriff Joe is a great veteran of the military, great law enforcement person, somebody that's won many, many elections in the state of Arizona. Sheriff Joe is a patriot. Sheriff Joe loves our country. Sheriff Joe protected our borders. And Sheriff Joe was very unfairly treated by the Obama administration, especially right before an election that he would have won. And he was elected many times. So I stand by my pardon of Sheriff Joe, and I think the people of Arizona who really know him best would agree with me.
So that was Donald Trump responding back to a reporter's questions on his pardon of Sheriff Joe Arpaio. There have been friends of mine that have said that he shouldn't have done it, that he shouldn't have gotten involved, that he's just opened himself up for scrutiny and all that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you, though, guys. Like this, like someone said that, that's a friend of mine was talking about how Sheriff Arpaio should have just fought it through the courts without having to have Trump get involved and all that. But the fact of the matter is that this is like an 82-year-old man, something like that. I mean, he's no longer a sheriff. He lost his position because he started up this garbage pertaining to everything that was going on with this whole case. It's just dumb. And Arpaio apparently did violate procedures, which wasn't good. And even though he is a sheriff, you can't just feel like at your own free will you can do stuff. If a judge rules something, you've got to adhere to it because you are a representation of the law. So you've got to uphold whatever the ruling is, even if you disagree with it. And the ruling was stupid because it's pertaining to pandering to liberalism, basically, what this judge was doing. But Arpaio went against that. But legally, I mean, it's not a good decision to make. Legally, it isn't. So, Anyway, guys, the thing is with the whole Arpaio situation is that the guy is in his 80s, all right? He does have several grandchildren. I mean, who knows how much time the guy has left. I mean, he could live 20 more years. I mean, he's a fighter, so I'm sure that he can, and he's not sick at all. So I'm sure that he could, make it, to 100. But the thing is that he's 80, he's like 82. The guy doesn't need to be in jail for a year, okay? He's not in politics anymore. He's not sheriff anymore. He's not in law enforcement anymore. Let the guy spend time with his grandchildren. And I'd say what President Trump did, it has nothing to do with him pardoning people that are connected to Russia. That's what another thing I've been hearing on the media. Donald Trump let him have a pardon, or pardoned Sheriff Arpaio, because, the guy needs to spend time with his grandchildren. Time is precious when you're 82. And there's nothing wrong with what Donald Trump did, because all that he was doing is that he's just saving an 82-year-old man the biggest legal battle of his lifetime, and it wasn't worth it. And so I'm really, I was happy that Donald Trump did pardon Arpaio. I knew that the media was going to really, take this and twist it and manipulate it into trying to make Trump look bad. And see, here's the thing. Look at this. This is what The Hill is reporting. This is how biased the journalists are. You want to hear what the Hill article is pertaining to that whole thing? Because you heard it, about how he made a joke that the ratings are higher with Arpaio. But anyway, this is what The Hill is reporting. Trump: I pardoned Arpaio during hurricane because I thought TV ratings would be higher. That's by Brandon Carter at thehill.com. I can hear all you Trump supporters through the radio now just going, oh, are you kidding me? Because you just heard what Trump said, and look at how The Hill has reported that. Trump: I pardoned Arpaio. This is what The Hill's saying that Trump said. This is their headline. Trump: I pardoned Arpaio during hurricane because I thought TV ratings would be higher. Now, isn't that dumb? President Trump on Monday said that he announced his pardon of former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio as Hurricane Harvey made landfall in Texas because he assumed the ratings would be far higher. Isn't that just a complete twist of what Donald Trump said? They take a little half-hearted remark and they twist it into that. That's how dishonest the media is. That's what Trump's talking about when he slams the media all the time. Every single thing that the man says, they just completely twist and rip apart and portray him in the most negative way possible. I mean, that is bad. That is just so absolutely pathetic. But hey, that's what they're calling journalism nowadays. Absurdity like that. I mean, that's something else. Gee whiz. I'm reading through this right here. The White House announced Trump's decision to pardon Arpaio on Friday in a statement. And this is what the White House said. Throughout his time as Sheriff, Arpaio continued his life's work of protecting the public from crime, from scourges of crime and illegal immigration, the White House said. Sheriff Arpaio is now 85. I was wrong. He's not 82. He's 85 years old. And after more than 50 years of admirable service to our nation, he is a worthy candidate for a presidential pardon. And that's the truth. I mean, and this is a thing that I've really got to point out too. The media is making a big deal about how Trump pardoned Arpaio. But if you remember, President Barack Hussein Obama was pardoning, hard criminals that were involved in drugs, that were involved in violence, that were involved in crime. You remember that? And right before he ran out of the White House, he pardoned a bunch of criminals and put them back out on the street. And that made the headlines. But it didn't really make any major headlines because the media just acted like it didn't happen. But you let Donald Trump pardon, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, what happens? Every single media outlet out there is just completely portraying it as if, he is using his presidency to I guess, let people off that need to be arrested.
Keeping America straight.
You're listening to Caiden Cowger on the WCNR News Network.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
It safely eliminates stress and anxiety. It makes commuting, driving your kids around, or driving a truck more fun. It makes gift shopping easier. It's Happy Driving Stress Reduction, a revolutionary patent-pending tool that works while you drive. Find Happy Driving Stress Reduction on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play. Make life easier. Buy Happy Driving Stress Reduction today.
You always want to look your best, but you don't always have time to deal with a necktie that won't cooperate. That's where we come in. Introducing the Never Tie, the only necktie that you never have to tie. Each Never Tie comes with a tie and 2 removable knots that you simply slide on and adjust for your comfort, giving you the perfect look every time. Choose from over 20 stylish designs at thenevertie.com. Enter promo code RADIO1 for discount.
Go get your copy of Prelude to World War III, The Rise of Islamic Republic and the Rebirth of America. World War III Series Volume 1, available in paperback and Kindle edition on Amazon by the authors James Rozone and Miranda Watson. By the 2020s, America was no longer a world superpower. The military had been cut to a bare-bones level, and while the U.S. was focused internally, the door opened for new powers to emerge on the world stage. In the wake of this power vacuum, China...
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas.
For your free inventor's information, call 1-800-441-7922. That's 1-800-441-7922.
Goldman Sachs and HSBC recently purchased 7.1 tons of physical gold. What do these bankers and mega money managers know that you don't? They're expecting the value of gold and silver to increase. That's why you need our friends at Capital Gold Group. Capital Gold Group offers gold and silver for direct delivery and will not be undersold. Call now. Call 1-800-932-4108. That is 1-800-932-4108.
Have a brand, organization, or business? Consider becoming a sponsor of the Caiden Cowger program. Reaching over 6 states, the Caiden Cowger program offers wide coverage. I'm sure you've heard that radio is dead, but research shows that 93% of Americans listen to the radio, including 92% of millennials. That's greater than television, internet, and smartphone usage. Radio isn't dead. After all, aren't you hearing this? 84% of drivers cite radio as their primary in-car entertainment device. This means your sponsorship spot is reaching consumers closest to their point of purchase. In addition, talk is the second most listened to radio format. Sponsoring the Caiden Cowger program is actually quite simple. We tell our listeners who you are, what your business does, and how to get in touch with you. It helps you and keeps our program on the air. For more information, go to www.caidencowgerprogram.com/sponsor.
Like what you hear? We need your support. Consider becoming a patron of the Caiden Cowger program. As a member, you'll gain access to exclusive content only available to patrons of the show. Your subscription will help fund equipment, projects, promotion, and overall production of the broadcast. To join, go to www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. That's www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. Again, www.patreon.com/Caiden Cowger. And thanks.
This is President Donald J. Trump, and I would like to tell you, all of my loyal supporters, and you're all very loyal, to listen to the Caiden Cowger program on your local station. Caiden Cowger is a great guy, does an amazing job, loves Trump, and is making radio great again. His show is huge. Also, his Twitter account, @Caiden Cowger, is very bigly. So bigly, it's almost as good as Trump's. So go ahead and give him a follow. Let's make his Twitter followers number greater than Rosie O'Donnell's poor bathroom scale. Now that would be an accomplishment. You can also give him a follow on Instagram via @Caiden Cowger. Thank you, and let's make radio and America great again.
You're listening to the WCNR News Network, where America comes to talk.
Caiden Cowger. Somebody had to say it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Caiden Cowger program. It is great to have you with us. So, I have an article here for you, or actually not an article. I have a video here for you. Actually not a video. I have an audio bit here for you. There you go. Finally got it all out. It's been a long week. I had first week of college last week, still recovering over that. But I do like it a lot better than high school, so that's good. But anyway, Rush Limbaugh, I have an audio bit for you from the Rush Limbaugh show. And Rush was talking about how he believes that there could very well be Republicans that are lining up and starting to talk about impeaching Trump. Go ahead and listen to this. This is from the Rush Limbaugh show. He wouldn't be surprised if the RNC is counting impeachment votes among the GOP. Go ahead and play it. This is Rush.
Look, folks, I wouldn't be surprised. Just so I don't want you thinking I'm off the reservation. I wouldn't be surprised if the RNC itself is now counting impeachment votes among Republicans. I'm not predicting it. I'm just telling you, if I were to learn that, I don't know if I'd be surprised. They're all scared to death. The media. I mean, for crying out loud, what's so hard about this?
So, yeah, I mean, that's the truth. I mean, it's ridiculous. Everybody is freaking out in the Republican Party. They're all going crazy. They're going ballistic. They believe that Donald Trump is destroying the GOP when he won the election. I mean, they're completely in bondage to the Democrats. It's so absolutely absurd. And by the way, if you think what Donald Trump said pertaining to the whole Russia thing was bad, I want to play, or pertaining to the whole hurricane thing and Sheriff Joe Arpaio. There was a caller that called into the Rush Limbaugh show today, and I got to play this for you because it was funny. There's a guy that called in to the Rush Limbaugh show that was over in Houston, Texas, and he was presently going through Hurricane Harvey. And this caller said that Hurricane Harvey is nothing compared to the disaster if Hillary were president.
I appreciate you giving us that status report. I know that's not why you called. What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to say, as a conservative, I love listening to you all the time, and then living in a, liberal mayor, stuff like that, I would rather go through her after hurricane than have to endure a Hillary Clinton presidency. That keeps me in perspective. That's a disaster we can never get over. We can bounce back as Houstonians, but
what did I tell you about the people of Texas? So here's this guy. So this is nothing compared to the disaster we'd have if Hillary were president. That is awesome. That's John in Houston, so far not flooded out where he lives. See, sense of humor still alive and well. Glad to hear that.
So, see, that was funny. I was listening to that, and my goodness, this guy took time out of his day going through a hurricane to call into the Rush Limbaugh show just to tell him that Hurricane Harvey is nothing compared to the disaster if Hillary were president. I mean, that's great. But I tell you, that's the people of Texas. It's the truth. I mean, and he's right. I mean, can you imagine? Hurricane Harvey will be over before you know it. But a Hillary Clinton presidency lasts 4 to 8 years. So, thank God we don't have Hillary as president. But I tell you, that's what I mean. The media, you think that Donald Trump's remarks were bad because he made a little remark about Hurricane Harvey and Joe Arpaio just to get your goat? Yeah, you try taking that caller's statements. Hillary Clinton is worse than Hurricane Harvey. That's great. So anyway, guys, that's it for today. I want to thank you for listening to us. For more information on the Caiden Cowger program, go to CaidenCowgerProgram.com. For the latest news exposing the left, go to CowgerNation.com. Thank you. May God bless you. And God save this nation.